Item is the Pledge of Allegiance led by Plymale Elementary. Okay, it's on you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, on to item B, we'll take a moment for silent reflection. Item C, meetings and notes. Staff appreciation dinner is Thursday, May 22nd at 5:30 p.m. at Garden City High School Commons. 4 or more board members may be in attendance. Item D, approval of agenda following amendments. And D1, remove item H3, new business, the Avid membership. D2, additional certified personnel actions for consideration. Item F3.
Mr. President, I move to approve the meeting agenda as amended.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, same. Motion carries. Okay, item E, delegations or public comment. Is there any? Okay. Item E1, building presentation, Lima Elementary School. Suzette Goldsby, the principal.
I am Suzette Goldsby, and I am the principal at Plymale Elementary. Here with me is Jillian Algren. She is our instructional coach as well as our Lighthouse team coordinator. Mr. Henningsen is our other Lighthouse team coordinator and our sponsor of our student Lighthouse team. He is unable to be here tonight. Him and his wife just had a baby girl, so he is otherwise preoccupied. And tonight we have our student Lighthouse team here to present about our school.
Hi, I'm Drew McDonald, and I'm a coordinator on the Student Lighthouse team, and my partner Jackson Cobb was not able to make it.
I'm Brady Bennett. I'm the leadership action team leader, and unfortunately, 2 of my members were unable to make it.
I'm Parker Schmidt. I'm on the leadership action team. I'm on the culture action team, and Logan and Valeria were not able to make it, and Logan was our culture action team leader.
I'm Elijah Reyes, and I'm the leader for the academic action team.
I am Brady Schmidt. I'm on the academic action team.
I'm Jennifer McKean. I'm Kaden Beal. I am on the academic action team.
This is our student Lighthouse team made up of 5th and 6th graders. Our coordinators oversee the Lighthouse team operations. One of the main duties for the academic action team is to track hourly measures percentages by the class in the school as a whole. goal each week. The Leadership Action Team leads the Monday morning meeting and produces the daily announcements each morning. The Culture Action Team sells and distributes popcorn and pickle on Thursdays. They also help make the substitute teacher survival bags for our daily subs.
This is our school mission statement. We say it every day, first thing in the morning, after the Pledge of Allegiance, to remind us daily that we are proud to be a Panther. Each and every student and staff pledges the mission statement to the school and to one another. Each class also creates their own mission statement to start the day being proactive.
Every Monday, we begin the week with our Monday morning meeting. All students begin in the gym in order to put first things first and start our week with a plan. Our Leadership Action Team leads the Monday morning meeting. Here are some things that we include in our Monday morning meeting: the date and weather for the day, the Pledge of Allegiance and the mission statement, lunch and breakfast for the following day, lead measure scores by class and staff, a joke and a riddle, flag certificates, upcoming events, and an all-school activity.
That first students' lead measure competition came from students. Students brought this idea to the building leadership team where it was discussed and approved.
A lead measure is like an action step that helps us achieve our widely important goals to improve our FastGrid scores. If the student's lead measure average is above 80% and higher than the staff average, then the whole school will receive an extra recess that week as a celebration. The student average is 100%. A 30-minute recess is earned. This friendly competition has continued to increase our monthly average from a 70% to a 90% or higher. About 3 weeks ago, as a student body, we reached our goal of 100% of students meeting their lead measures.
The Plymouth Legacy Mile is our service learning project to raise money for the Leave a Legacy Foundation. It's a mile race held at the zoo where staff, students, and parents and community members can participate.
This year, our goal was to raise $1,500 and 5,000 snacks. We ended up raising $4,500 and over 5,400 snacks. The money went to Leave a Legacy's Greatest Needs Fund, and the snacks went to fill the fridge so patients and families could have a treat during their treatment. After the race, we went to the cancer center to make letters and gift boxes for the cancer patients. While we were there, the doctors gave a presentation about how their jobs help the patients.
As we finish our 4th year as a Leader in Me school, we continue to grow in learning and using the 7 habits in our lives at school and at home.
The 7 Habits has affected our school in a positive way by increasing positivity throughout our school, increasing positive behavior, and helping students and staff complete their lead measures by putting first things first. By using the 7 Habits in the Leader in Me program and a lot of hard work from students, staff, and parents, we
Achieve
lighthouse status.
Lighthouse status shows we have efficiently used the 7 habits to make our school even better. We've grown in our learning, built more positive relationships, and developed into more well-rounded individuals. To us, this means feeling more connected to our school and community, like we're part of one big family.
There were many steps that we had to complete as requirements to become a Leader in Me Lighthouse School. One of the requirements was to complete an evidence binder that demonstrates how we met each of the 23 rubrics in the Leader in Me process. A link to our evidence binder is attached to the picture on this slide. If you would like to look through our binder, you can see all of the progress and improvements our school has made over the last 4 years.
Thank you for listening. Does anyone have any questions?
I want to hear the joke. Okay, well, next time. I don't really have a question per se, but I want to commend you guys for what you do. I'm really proud of how you've taken, you've expanded from the school and even gone out into the community and really are making a difference in the community, and I appreciate that, so thank you. Question? Hey, thank you.
Good job.
Come on. Hey, come up here and shake our hands, and if you want a pin, take one, okay?
Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job. Go back around. Congratulations. Good job. Good. Right now, I'm gonna take a picture. Good job. Let's take a picture. Come back up. Y'all in front of the board. How about that? We're like. Interrupt. One down, one down. Keep going. Down. There you go, right there. Boom. One's in front, one's in back. You guys are getting a little tall. Your tone. Did you get us?
Not you.
Well, there
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Got you all.
you go.
Good job, guys.
Thank you, guys. Or did you and Leanne? How about that?
That's fine.
Okay, we'll move on to item E2. This is the recognition of letters training completion. Heather Stegman, Director of Instruction.
Okay, I'm gonna invite all the teachers that are letters and principals that are letters completers this year to come up and join me. You'll recognize them because they all are matching today, so they look like lots of twins.
I know, I rate it, right? Just like another one.
Part of the admin.
And you put my power.
Sorry.
Okay, so I just wanted to summarize a little bit about Garden City's letters journey tonight. Letters truly is a commitment and it's a journey. It's a 2-year commitment. There are 55 hours of videos that each of these people have completed over the last 2 years, 656 pages of reading, 48 hours of face-to-face learning on our district in-service days, and then there's hours of hands-on learning and assessments that they have to complete in order to complete the course. So it is a very large commitment to learning how to teach our kids to read. In 2022-2023 school year, we had our first cohort of letters teachers start. There was 40 of them and they were all volunteers. And then the data from comparing teachers who had had letters to ones who had not was significantly different. So the district did commit after that to expanding that and requiring it of all K-3 teachers.
And then several buildings, because they're K4, said, I'd like my fourth grade teachers to take it as well, so that our building PD can really align to what they're learning in letters. So, early childhood in 22-23 also trained all of their staff. And Andrea and Melanie have remained committed to that. When they have new teachers come in, they go through letters training and have kept their 100% participation in letters training. This cohort started in 23-24. We had 125 teachers that started that year. And they've worked the last 2 years to get finished this May. And then I have linked the participants' names in there. That way you know who we're talking about, because I'm not going to read 125 names to you. At the same time that our second cohort started for teachers, we started an administrator course as well. And we had 10 administrators that started that course. And it is also a 2-year course, and they just finished. I think some of them will tell you what the final took about, 3 to 4 hours. It was pretty intense final. So definitely a big time commitment for them too. On an ongoing basis, we are remaining committed to our letters training and what we've learned in it. In the 24-25 school year, we had our third cohort of teachers start and our second cohort of administrators. All of our K6 administrators will be letters trained by the end of next school year. We will have 6 staff members be trained to be letters facilitators, which are like letters teachers this summer. We have sent staff to the MTSS symposium where letters authors have been there to speak. And Jill Regal, Syra Ortiz, and Laura Martinez last summer went to the Letters Applied workshop where we got to meet all of the authors of all of the different letters courses. And it was a pretty small workshop, so we did get a lot of face-to-face time and opportunity to speak to them and get questions answered. In the long term, our next move with our letters training is our professional development next year is going to revolve around implementing what we've learned. And what can we do to make sure that what we've learned doesn't die, that it lives within our classroom and in our instructional practices. And the next thing is our ELA adoption. We do have a lot of great questions coming from teachers and what they've learned in letters and what they're looking for in our next set of curriculum because of what they've learned. So we wanted to invite everyone here. Obviously not all 125 came, but we wanted an opportunity for you to recognize them because this is a big commitment and a big job. And they've put a lot of time into it. Sorry, got me all choked up. Yeah, please, thank you. Do you guys have any questions or anything that you would like to ask of them?
I will say my wife is in the cohort, so I know personally firsthand she's finished with some of you guys, the early ones, so I can testify to the hard work and the hours it takes and the time away from everything else. So I appreciate your commitment outside of the classroom to make yourselves better. And so I just want to say thanks for all that hard work.
Heather, I would ask on the professional development of letters for reading and writing, what are some of the glows of it compared to how we were teaching reading and writing prior? And it could be anybody.
What are you guys' thoughts? Because I've presented up here and I've talked to them about this before, but I want to.
So I feel like the PD, what it does, it's kind of like when you go to a college class, they tell you, hey, read this, and then we'll come back and discuss it. And that's kind of what letter PDs do. We read the unit and, take the test, the quizzes, do all the interactive work. Then we go to the PDs and they talk about it and not only helps us talk with the other teachers that are doing the same grade level, because how they did our PDs, we were, for example, kinder and first together, second grade was together, third and fourth. And so it was nice to see what other teachers were doing with letters or how they were using their data to apply it for their small groups or how they learn letters, because we all learn differently. So some of us learned one part of letters better than others, and so we were able to also help each other out. But yeah, those PDs were more of discussions and really applying it and diving deeper into the unit that we were doing.
Are there any yes ands and?
Oh, thank you.
I too want to commend you for the extra commitment. Everybody I've talked to that's done it, it was terrible, all the extra commitment but they all said it was worth it. So I appreciate the extra effort and everything you guys have done, because I do think it's important, and I think it will help the district grow for sure.
And honestly, we've already seen it this is my second year, sorry, but we've actually already seen those results in their reading. Kids, I mean, I teach first grade personally, and I know everybody else who teaches first grade has probably seen that kids are able to write complete sentences a lot better, able to decode, read. Amazing. So kids really help.
Hey, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Yep. I was wanting to get a photo with everyone together. I was gonna do it out there, but I want to do it in here.
Yep.
No, you
We're gonna have to do a sorority pose. Is there some, there's gonna get tighten up. Tighten up on this deal.
I'm sure we like each other, guys.
That's exactly right. Chime in.
Get in there. There you go. Perfect.
Good, there we go, it's okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, cheese. 1, 2, 3, cheese. One more. 1, 2, 3, cheese.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you,
ladies.
We'll move on to item F, the consent agenda.
President, I move to approve the consent agenda items as amended.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, same. Motion carries. Item G, is that right? It's a long list. Okay, item G, G1, engage after-school program. Jamie Sweer.
Everybody go.
Yes, I for myself.
Yes. Speak for everybody.
Well, thank you for having us. I have a couple special little guests with me, so we're gonna let them go first so they can get home and do their home routine things. I have a student and her parents from Alts Brown Elementary. Bella is in second grade. She has been in the after-school program all year. And her parents are excited to be able to come and speak about the after-school program and her successes that she's had with it. Miss Rascoon is her classroom teacher, so she's gonna kind of help facilitate, translate as we need it. So, Belinda, if you guys want to come this way.
Yes. Well, Bella really loves the after-school program, and that's her favorite thing. She has learned a lot, and I don't know what this meeting's about. Is it, if it's about taking it away or keeping it?
No, just
No?
information.
Okay, how good? Let's go on strike. Yeah, but she really does love it, and she, like, really has learned from it, and she loves all the teachers that help her out. I mean, it's amazing, and it definitely helps a lot of the kids. You know what I mean? Some, you know, as we know, a lot of kids don't get that help at home, but the teachers really help out a
They
lot.
do an amazing
And I
job.
think everybody's thankful, and we're really grateful that we get to come up here and speak about it. You know what I mean? And nobody really asked. I don't know if you guys had other meetings about this before, but Bella has really, really grown and got smarter, and the teachers have really, you know, went beyond in teaching.
Above and
Yeah.
beyond.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
The progress that she's made from the beginning of the school year to the end of the school year is amazing. Like, she's progressed a lot. You can see it in her test scores and everything.
So, yeah, we really are thankful for all the teachers. The after-school program is amazing.
What's your favorite part, Bella? Say it again. To learn a lot. Okay, good. That's awesome.
Yeah, she
Keep that
loves
up.
to learn. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're happy.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, sir. Thank you, we appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Keep it up, Bella.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for coming. Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
sir. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Love you.
Get to the right spot or something. Okay, all right. There we go. Technology and I are not best friends. Pencil and paper and I get along great. For the 21st century grants, schools, we have Victor Nellis and Florence Wilson, and they're in year 5. We have went through the reapplication process. Sometime mid to late June, we should hear whether we were granted it or not. Gertrude Walker, who's in year 4, so next year Gertrude Walker's will be the one in the renewal process. Then Alex Brown, Jeannie Wilson, year 3. So each year for the next 3 years, we have one that will go through that renewal process. And then that's when the award letters will be. For the first time in many, many years, it's a big yahoo for us. We started this school year fully staffed. That has not happened in 5 or 6 years, so that was really exciting. The staff at VO, they come from VO, they come from the high school, they come from Charles Stone. So just because the after-school program is in that building doesn't mean that it's serviced by the staff in that building. So it takes all of us to pull from different directions to make it happen. The staff at Florence Wilson come from Garden City Achieve, the high school, And, and I think it should be Horace Good, not A. Hubert. At Alta Brown, however, all the staff in Alta Brown is from Alta Brown. At Jenny Wilson, we have teachers from Jenny Wilson. We have teachers from the high school. We have teachers from Horace Good. Gertrude Walker's a little bit the same. Some Gertrude Walker, some high school. So that's kind of how we put all these people kind of together. And then there's the enrollment numbers for each of the different sites. This is one of our staff kind of PD days. A grant requirement, we have to go to conferences and stuff, so we bring things back, try to share with the rest of our staff. So that's what we're doing here, is kind of a team development thing. Recognize the room. We had our Christmas get together in here. I brought all 5 sites in here and fed them a light meal, and I had some good times. And the conferences are required by our grant to go to. So we have to go to a state conference, and those are usually held in Wichita. And then we have to go to a national conference, and it's kind of for us to pick which one we want to go to. This year we went to the Beyond School Hours in Palm Springs. I took 3 staff with me, and we went to that one. And that's where we'll learn things, and that's what we bring back to the rest of the staff. Just some program information. We go Monday through Thursday, 3:50 to 5:50. That 3:50 to 4:10 is a snack and recreational time, because teachers' contracts expire at 4:10, so then they're available to do something extra. So that's kind of what drives the timing of it. We focus on fluency, reading, phonics, vocabulary, math, STEM. So we kind of cover a wide basis. Some of the students do receive busing. So that is a benefit for the parents. Part of the grant will require us to have family nights, 1 each semester. And so each school or each grant has to have them. So like VO and Florence Wilson, we can team up, we can tag in on a planned school activity and just help with that. Like at Alta Brown, Christmas time, we kind of tag in on the Winter Wonderland. Gertrude Walker, we have a Winter Wonderland. Different thing, everybody does something a little different, every building, so. It's like here is the the Connect 4 is at one of Jenny Wilson's family nights. The other picture is from Alta Brown here, what, 2 weeks ago, Julie, probably? We had a family barbecue type of thing with activities and had community people come in and have booths available, so our families could see what was available for them in the community. This is the Gertrude Walker Winter Wonderland night. It's kind of a Christmas theme, and then they can rotate to different stations and do things with their families. We have business partners that we use. And here's a list of all the different people in our community that are business partners. This particular picture, Grady Gleason is one of the Farm Bureau Ag Ambassadors. And so he would come and help and do things with the kids. I think it's kind of neat to see a senior in high school down on his knees, playing the games with the kids. And he really did a good job, and he really enjoyed what he was doing. We have the zoo, they come and do presentations for us, bring animals. There's Jennifer with Farm Bureau. One thing that we do, and I haven't highlighted it very much in the past, is I make my programs do some type of community service. For the last 8 years, we rang bells somewhere. It gets to be a long day for Mrs. Schwer, because this school does it for 2 hours, and this school does it for 2 hours, and this school does it for 2 hours. And so that Saturday is a long day. But it's a voluntary thing for my staff and students. The first picture, we're at the neighborhood Walmart. Gertrude Walker always rings bells at the neighborhood Walmart.
They've kind of helped us in the past with donations and stuff. It's our little neighborhood school. So we do that. Alta Brown, those are some of the kids that came in rank for Alta Brown. They got a little certificate that Santa had told them that they had been very good workers. So they get excited about that. And they really like doing it. There's usually no complaining, even when it's cold. They just truck right along. This is a bit of our summer school from last year. We had a circus theme, and every summer school we have some type of theme. And for a lot of our kids, this is probably the biggest thing they're gonna do all summer. This is kind of like their vacation, so to speak. So we really try to hype it up and make it a lot of fun for them. Even during the summer school program, we have guests come like Magic Hope with their ponies. The little ponies are really a big thing. The last day, I partner with Tyson and we do our own hamburger cookout. So Tyson gives us the protein to make our boogers and stuff with. And then my staff take and cut up watermelon, cantaloupes. We have a smorgasbord of all kinds of fresh stuff. And then the kids, that's what they have for lunch that day. We don't have a regular school lunch. This is just a little fun that we get to have at different times. The one is a staff dinner before our Winter Wonderland. We had a chili supper for that night, so they get to eat a little ahead of all the families and the kids. The other is they studied snakes in their STEM lesson. And then they made these snakes and they had a blast with them. I couldn't believe paper snakes could be so exciting, but they had a good time. This is a Christmas time and Halloween and stuff. We do something a little special. And karaoke is the most sought after station to go to. And I get really kind of tickled at it because we had some karaoke during summer school with my book club kids. And I told them, I said, you're practicing your reading fluency because they're working to keep up with all the words and they just keep reading along, you know, and they keep getting faster and faster. I said, see, we're practicing our fluency. It works. They get excited about it. That's it. Okay. With me this evening, these are a piece part of what it takes to make all this happen after school. Between the 5 sites, we have 45, 48 staff members that come after the day, give us another 2 hours of their time. For some of them, they stay all 3 rotations. Some of them, it works with their schedule with their kids in daycare that maybe they just do 1 rotation. Some of them do 2, some of them do all 3. Since I'm the only facilitator, I do have a head tutor at each site. So if I'm not in the building, they're the ones that deal with somebody gets sick, needs to go home, or discipline issues, or they kind of step in and be me because I can't be at all 5 places at once. Let's see here. Let's pick on somebody. Miss Lawquist. She took on a great challenge for me this year. At Alta Brown, I had 3 little boys that were Spanish speaking only. And so I paired him with Jessica because she is bilingual. She does Spanish and English. And she worked with those 3 little boys for math. And then they were paired with Aurelie Rico for phonics because she's bilingual, so she could do the phonics part. I'm gonna let Jessica talk about them with the math, and then Aurelie, you can chime in on the reading part, the growth.
So these 3 little boys, 1st graders, all 3 in the same classroom with Miss Rico all day. And I got them the 1st rotation. And goodness sakes, but every single day it'd take 5 to 10 minutes just to get them out of the bathroom because it was extra playtime. But you know, they're 1st grade little boys. So, but you know, it was amazing to see the growth because all of these boys had just migrated to Garden City with their families one from Venezuela, one from Mexico, and I guess maybe the other one had moved like late spring of last year. But so they were pretty well at zero English, you know, might have been able to say hi and goodbye, but not much else. And so we were just working on getting math words, math terminology. Can you count to 10? Can you count to 20? And then starting to identify some of the English words and pair those with that. And then starting to work a little bit more on incorporating that with the math that they'd be doing in first grade. And by December, they were ready to move into regular math rotations. So they just grew so much. It was just amazing to see how much they just wanted to learn and they wanted to be there and really enjoyed being around their friends, but also learning and just wanted to soak up the English too.
So every Friday they will ask, are we staying? Are we staying? Nope, not today. So we're gonna have a Math Madness tomorrow, also Brown. And two of them, they don't have to think it in Spanish anymore. They can think it in English and say it. So that good she did with them. And for phonics with me, by December, they were naming and sounding out their ABCs, and they were into CBCs. And one of them, he was doing diagrams, just within the nine weeks. And I truly believe it's the after-school program that we have. And that helped me as a classroom teacher to build a relationship with them too. So I am thankful for this program.
Okay. Let's pick on somebody from a different school. Anna. So Anna started out willingly to do snacks. Snacks is probably the hardest thing to find someone to do because it happens at 3:50 and it goes to 4:10 and you can't be a contract person. And we don't have enough paras that want to stay, or it works with their a lot of the paras have little ones, so it's not always feasible. So I have several of the Filipino teachers that come from the high school and they just go to various sites and that's all they do. They come in and do snacks, and when we're done with snacks, they're done. But it is, I learned, very helpful because if you have a teacher that all of a sudden, I can't stay today, Mrs. Schuer, I need a sub, and it's 2:00, you're not gonna find a sub. So then these teachers are willing to just stay and sub. So I have kind of some built-in subs, which is kind of nice. And we needed to fill a position partway through the year. So Anna was doing snacks and then just stepped into the position. So she already knew the kids. She was familiar with the building. So it turned out to be kind of a win-win. So tell them a little bit what you do.
Yeah, the funny thing is the first teacher that was handling them was also Miss A. And then I'm also Miss A. So when I got in and said, is your name really Miss A, Miss A? I said, yeah, why? We thought you're just making it up because you're subbing for Miss A. And then what's funny is it's really a nice experience because the kids are very excited. The last week, they said, we can't imagine that we won't have after school like in the next 2 weeks. Because some of them, they said that, like they are, some of them, they said they don't want to skip the regular school because they want to attend the after school. Because if they will be absent, they can go to after school, and it's really nice to see.
Who else is back there? Mrs. Barton, why don't you kind of talk to them about our conferences that we attended, since you're my only one here from a conference, I think. Wow, you really put me on the spot. Just tell them what we did, some things we learned.
It was in Orlando, Florida, and wow, we learned a lot. We learned about math games. We learned several different types of interactive games that we can do to bring in movement and with learning, which we presented on. It was,
The conference was scheduled so like for 2 days, you just pick the workshops you wanted to go to, and then we all kind of tried not to go to the same one so we could get more information, and then
learned a lot about how to make learning fun.
yeah, and then came back and shared. I had a video that I wanted to put on this slideshow, but I couldn't figure out how to make it work. But one of the math things that they gave us was to tell us to put your hands behind your back and you pick your numbers, and then you and your partner put your hands out and either you have to add them together or multiply them or whatever, you know. And so we did it with the staff. If I played the video and didn't even show you the pictures, all you would hear is laughter and giggling and fun. And I mean, they're going at it. And so I'm like trying to model that this is what we want our kids to do. We want them doing these actions. We want them laughing. We want them having fun. It's mental math, you know. A lot of the things we do after school, we're doing in a game kind of concept, but we're not really, it's not truly a game, but we're doing those things to make them feel like they're playing games. Miss Rico did have one of her parents come at conferences and wanted to, had questions about it because her daughter went home and told her, all we do it after school is play games. My mom thought we were supposed to be teaching. And so Aurelie, being the organized person she is, she pulled out all the stuff she uses with these kids after school and showed her. My mom's like, oh, you are learning. That's just not games. And Aurelie's like, no, it's the way we present it that it makes it seem fun, because who wants to do more learning when it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and we all want to go home. So I think that's kind of what helps the kids. They get excited and they know it's fun. And Matt is our, from the Office of Instruction, kind of our liaison for the after-school program. And this year he's been a little more involved. Last year he's kind of learned it out. And this
Definitely
year
a learning process.
So,
A lot of hard work going on, a lot of dedication, a lot of time spent by everybody after school. And it's really nice to see the parents that stepped in today to talk about the gains that they see and the gaps that the after school program is filling. So really words of affirmation from parents, and hearing this speech and then hearing and seeing all the support staff coming in and supporting each other. It's just great.
I think that's all we have. If you have questions, I'll let them take it, because they're really the workforce. I just come here, but if it's important, they're doing it all.
The kids, is it parent initiated, teacher initiated for the kids to attend?
It's data driven. For their fast bridge testing. So we use our fast bridge testing, identify the tier 3 kids first. Those are the first ones recruited. Then we recruit tier 2 kids and we just kind of work up, but it starts, our main focus is those tier 3 kids to try to get that gap closed as much as we can.
Like if we have a kid that we know is really struggling, okay, do we have room? Like if I talk to this parent and see if she'll see if we have room, she'll just give us an application.
And we kind of have recruitment. It goes in spurts, like the beginning of the year, we'll have a big surge of recruitment. And it kind of settles down. And then October, when parent-teacher conferences roll around, as soon as parent-teacher conferences is, the applications just keep it coming. And then it levels off until about February, 1st of March. We'll get a few more, and especially if teachers are having conversations with parents, you know, we really need to push and catch up before the end of the year. Then we kind of spike about 3 different times of the year with our enrollment. So
Knowing some of our kids that aren't gonna be able to get any support, not support, but help from their parents that don't speak English, can't read English, can't do these things in English at home, having them be able to be pulled in to get all that support and that extra help, because their parents want them to succeed. So that's been great for our building especially too.
Not a question, but Jamie, it's probably exciting to start the year fully staffed.
it was truly exciting.
And
So there was a lot less stress in my house for a while.
Can you speak a little bit about instruction tools or curriculum you use when you're teaching reading?
Let's see, who's someone like that hasn't teaching? Yeah, we do reading, math. Belinda, go for it.
I started in the January, February. I had not done the after school program. One of my co-teachers, Ms. Calderon here, did it, and I've taught at the school where we're at for many more years than she has, and the kids would come up, Ms. Calderon, and I'm like, wait a minute, where's she getting all these little first graders? So I kind of got in for that because I'm like, you know, these relationships are pretty important. But back to the curriculum, when I got in, I thought, you know, I've got 28 years behind me. So I went to Ms. Schwer and I'm like, hey, yeah, I'll work for you and I'll do this. She's like, okay. So she sent me with Ms. Rico, and then they both trained me, and they have the books laid out and it tells you exactly what they've tested, what you're going to help them with. I don't know the name of the folder that shows, but they have reading fluency. It has cards. It's more or less a lesson plan that's made up for you the first few minutes. They come in, they review. So they're doing
fun games, you can have them put their cards in a row and then they want to speed read them to see if they know them. If they don't, then they challenge each other. Then they're going into actual passages. They're decodable passages that are with the program. So it was easy for me coming in. It was there for you. You can make it fun and put your twist on it, but
And it's different than what they see throughout the day, so it's new and fun for them.
and
The
they,
instruction for the students kind of cater to each individual student and where their needs
Yes.
are. And then who helps you kind of figure out where that student is or where areas they need to be focused on?
the big boss up there.
Okay. So you kind of, do you?
So I go through all the fast bridge data, identify the kids, then I go around to a lot of buildings and I do the QTS spawner, it's a phonics screener kind of thing. Get all that information, that's where my baseline to start. Then I know this kid needs this kid needs this kid needs this, and they're placed to what they need. So some of like the phonics groups, there might be a first grader, a third grader, and a fourth grader all in the same group, because they all need the same thing. If their phonics is all in place, then more likely they need some fluency practice, because a lot of the CBM tests are based on how much you can read in a minute. So we're working on those kids to build their fluency so they can read 50 words a minute or 80 words a minute or whatever it may be. Every one of my kids go through a vocabulary and comprehension, and they're tier 1 high-level vocabulary words. And my tutors make the card with the vocabulary word on it, a picture card, a definition card, and they use those all week. They read the book, model what it is to read with fluency, how to read with expression, how to read with punctuation, how to read and have fun with silly voices if the story allows. Because a lot of our kids are ELL learners. So if we put a picture with the word, I'll remember it. If you put the word up there and I really don't know what the word means, I'm probably not gonna remember it. But if I have something to associate that word with, then it stays pretty concrete. I have is there an answer? I already picked on Kim. Shane. Shane does that.
Yes.
And she's a newbie, so she can probably give you a real
I first and foremost, I am happy because I get to, the kids, we read the tangible book, not the ebook, so they have to, and show me the picture, and they would do like that, and then they would be, I get it from Miss Kim because she trained me. We have the word, and then what we do is I will have them have the word, and then first we pair it, as she said, we pair it with a picture and the word, and they will hold on to that word, and as we read the story from the book, they would be raising it if they hear it. It's your word. So if somebody is not listening, it's like, it's your word, like, oh, this is the word, and something like that. And what else? So
and
yeah.
for them, every Thursday is game day.
Game day. So is it game day?
So they take all the vocabulary words, maybe this week's words and a few of last week's words, and they have a game day. And these people come up with some of the most amazing created games. And these kids are laughing and having fun. And we have little ones that remember really big words. And they go back to their classroom teachers, and the teachers are just amazed that they know all these things. And they retain it very well. So.
All of this is funded completely through the grant, right?
Yes, this is all funded through the grant.
It's nice. Did they get supplementals?
Yeah.
The district does, the grant doesn't do the busing, but the district does provide busing to, like at Gertrude Walker, we don't want kids crossing Mary Street, especially at, 6 o'clock at night. So like there's some stops north of Mary Street that we just do, we don't do door to door, it's just a neighborhood kind of stop. And like the kids like Alta Brown, VO, Florence Wilson, if they get bused during the day, then they get bused home from the after school program.
It was nice to hear from a testimony from someone whose lives it's really affecting Bella and her parents tonight, and that I appreciate. It was wonderful, and just want to thank you all for what you're doing. You're making a difference in the lives of individuals.
We'll start summer school June 2nd, and We have 140 kids coming to Gertrude Walker and 100 kids coming to to Florence Wilson. So it's gonna be, ready or not, we're gonna come.
Amazing work. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, to the district alternative education placement, we had Josh Guyman, deputy superintendent, and principal Lucas Sullivan.
So we just wanted to visit with you all a little bit tonight about a new program that we want to try, for the upcoming year, hopefully. The DAEP, we're calling it the District Alternative Education, Placement. And so it would be, a program for our students that go to expulsion hearings, that we don't feel like they're ready to go back to the school yet, but would allow them to continue to work in their curriculum, and if they're at the high school level, continue to earn those credits. So.
Yeah, so this will allow students to make progress in the curriculum, when they're removed from the typical setting. We know the kid's out, then they're probably unsupervised and maybe creating more problems for themselves. So this might not be a student that could necessarily do virtual on their own, because we do give that option for expelled kids, but their reading level may not be high enough. They may be a student on an IEP. This will help ensure some special education compliance as well, and prevent, the idea is to give them some supports to prevent future expulsions. If you're suspended or expelled, it doubles the chance a student will drop out. So we're trying to create a support system where a kid might make a poor decision, but we're giving them the supports. So hopefully they don't find themselves in that situation again. Classroom will be Finney County Department of Corrections, or the Community Service Center. It is just west of the Juvenile Detention Center. We kind of had, well, one thing, some of our special education students do receive services there that might have trespass warnings. So this won't be on school grounds. We won't have to worry about the trespass warnings for the expelled students. And we did have a classroom, but that did cater to these students at one time, but it wasn't district personnel running the classroom. So it was kind of hard to control the things that were going on in there. And so this will be an option through the expulsion process. We're thinking 3-hour sessions, a morning session, maybe for a 5th through 8th grade group, and then an afternoon session where we have 9th through 12th graders. So we catch all those kids. Right now they have like 2 rooms down there. We're thinking 10 capacity in each session, so we could cater to 20 kids. And it's just another program. Like we try to create programs in alternative education to catch kids falling through the cracks. And I think this is just another program that could do that. We're going to staff it with either a teacher that has special education credentials or a special education para, and Drew might be able to talk more on that.
Yeah, so our hope is obviously to get somebody with a special education degree to be able to staff this. The one thing we have to be cognizant of, because we are now staffing it ourselves as opposed to the county or the state staffing it, our teachers all go on contracts and have to have breaks. So we will have to have a para down there additionally, so our teacher can go on lunch break or get their plant time, whatever that may be. So the staffing will generally always be a 2-person crew down there manning this program.
There'll be they're gonna complete courses through Ingenuity or virtual platform, but they will have the support. We're thinking, obviously, reading and math are core classes that we really need to concentrate on. They're not gonna get all their education, but if we can focus on those things. And then Ingenuity has a intervention on purpose, so an IP classes through Ingenuity. These are classes actually geared towards ISS, OSS, alternative ed kids, and we're already paying for this suite through our Ingenuity. So they'll get either math or reading core class that they'll work on top of an IP class, so they're getting that prevention. They will also have an evaluation by Finney County Youth Services, which we already do this. We refer a lot of kids, probably more kids to the drug, alcohol prevention and vaping classes right now between Achieve and Garden City High School. But these kids will be evaluated by the Finney County Youth Services. They'll also provide programming for these kids, hopefully maybe the other half of the day. So they even have more time where they're being in front of adults and being supervised. Some of the classes, you know, they have substance abuse education, coping with trauma, hardship. There's a number of different ones, emotional regulation, refining decision-making skills. We probably made a poor decision to get ourselves into this situation, right? So trying to create the decision-making skills. Compass has also talked to us about having a mental health assistant down there to also provide some services. So hopefully giving that student enough supports where we're not in that situation again. So hire a teacher. I talked to Casey today about getting desktops down there. That would be school issued desktops. And we're gonna have to work with the FCDC, the county folks, about some software and internet and things like that. And we're trying to hammer those things out, but that's kind of our next steps on this. So
Yeah, on the personnel side of it, it's no additional staffing. We've just reallocated a teacher and reallocated a para that we didn't need elsewhere. So we're just reallocating those positions. So the staffing is neutral as far as cost is concerned. Back to what Lucas mentioned, we did used to have a program almost identical to this. The problem that we ran into when running that is staffing became very unreliable because it wasn't our staffing. So whenever there's cuts at the state level, you know, you may be seeing cuts in programs like this. Having it be our staffing, we can have more consistency in the development of the program and the implementation of the program.
And the other thing I would say is, like Lucas said, we already have the Ingenuity platform, so curriculum will not be an increased cost either. So really, this will be pretty much a zero cost program. We will have to put a few more computers down at the FCDC building to support the kiddos. But talking to Casey today, he felt like he would be able to find some in places that weren't being utilized that we could use.
some of the fifth graders may have to go through My Path, which we already have through
Yeah.
It's just a lower level program through Ingenuity.
So the plan is, if the kiddos have the reading skills and they're able to do virtual school, when they would go to the expulsion hearing, we would recommend them to go to the virtual school. And this would be just for the kiddos that we feel like would not be successful on that platform, where they're gonna need some extra help and some more adult support, so that they'll have daily contact with an adult to make sure that they're continuing to make that progress that they need. So that when they do return to us, at least they're hopefully in a better place.
You think you'll have 10 and 10? I mean, do you think you'll have 20 students or?
I've had 87 expulsion hearings this year, so I don't think that'll be a problem at all. Now, a lot of those kiddos we sent virtual, a lot of those kiddos, they need a wake-up call, and so a lot of them, we let them, once they come into the hearing, they visit with us, and we let them go back to school on probation. A lot of them are kiddos that they had a pocket knife that they didn't realize they had in their pocket, things like that. So a lot of them are not kids that I would say would be a danger to be in school, but there are some kids that, you know, that do need to have an alternative placement. And
The other thing that this does is it gives us flexibility in our decisions as a hearing chair officer. You know, instead of just 186ing them for an entire year, this is an option for a short-term placement, as opposed to just automatically having to go with the only option we have as a long-term placement, because we know putting them back in the building that they came from isn't a suitable answer to to what we want to do. The other thing I would say, and Lucas touched on it briefly, is we for about the last year, we've been looking for an answer for SPED issues that we've been dealing with when expelling students. The state strongly frowns upon expelling special education students. So we've been trying to find a better way of doing that and handling that process. And this gives us that better way of still offering services to those students while they are out of our school.
And I think early on, John, you won't have be full, but as the year goes on, you'll have more kids make poor decisions. And I think even some kids that are going to the hearings now.
And I think
can't
next
have
year,
options.
when we're at this point next year, we're gonna have kids that are gonna end the year with us that'll probably be going back and starting that program in August, where with this being new, we'll be placing kiddos as we go, so it'll take a little time, but I don't think we'll have any trouble filling the classroom.
Are there some safeguards in for the teacher and the parent that will be there? I mean, is there anybody on call?
Yeah.
Just in case something happens.
So it's at the juvenile, right by the juvenile detention center. They have staff that is also there.
Yeah.
So there's an agreement kind of.
Yeah.
So that'll be one of the things that we'll do. Obviously, we'll have to have an MOU, and so, that'll be one of the next things that we'll do is we'll work with Jennifer. We'll get with Beth at the FCDC and kind of talk about what that's gonna look like and kind of draft that up, have Jennifer put the legalings on that. So
One of the SROs, that might be one of their sites as well.
I just don't want them to
Drop
be
in,
on an
yeah,
island
no,
by themselves. and something happens.
I get exactly what you're saying.
If a student needs, transportation to get there, will we be able to provide them that?
It's one thing we've discussed. Some of these programs do provide transportation, some don't. The difficult thing is a lot of these students are, and Josh can speak more to this, but a lot of these students are gonna be spread out. So if there is transportation, it's gonna have to be probably a regional pickup site and a regional drop-off site. But Josh can talk more
Because
about that.
realistically, we'll have kids all over town, and so I don't know what that looks like.
So did you say you're trying to put together, or we will, or we won't? or
We're looking at how that would work. Most places don't offer transportation for expelled students. So us doing it would be a little bit unique, but it wouldn't be what you think of as door to door, just from the aspect that in order to get them started on time, we may have kids from all the way out of Burnside to all the way up north of town. And so those kids aren't gonna be they can't be on our buses. They can't be on our general education buses because they're gonna be on a no trespass. So they can't be on a normal bus. So picking them up and dropping them off gets really complicated because they are so spread out.
Yeah.
That's why generally programs across the state that have this, you have to get your child to the location.
We use the Ingenuity platform and we can do a bit more about it.
John, I don't know that I could tell you how long we've used it, quite a while. Lucas probably knows more than I do. I've been at central office for 6 years, and I know we've used it for the virtual school for the 6 years that I've been down here. So more than 6 years, I can tell you.
I was a para at the New Outlook and we were running E2020, which was the precursor to Ingenuity, and that was 16 years ago. So we've been running Ingenuity through like the alternative credit recovery, upwards of 20 years.
What classes does it have everything?
Everything. And Ingenuity is a 612 program. Lucas had mentioned it earlier. We don't put our fifth graders on it, so there's that gap. So we have to have things to fill in the gap. And then with our struggling readers, a lot of them, we don't want to put them on Ingenuity. So
We put them on MyPath, which is kind of like the remedial version, but it's all the same company.
Most people in the state of Kansas use Ingenuity, not everybody in the state of Kansas that does some sort of online uses Ingenuity, but the large majority, and quite honestly, it's the easiest that works with the state.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Next, G3, student drug testing, end-of-year summary, HR, Rita.
So you guys have this in your packet. I know Andy likes paper.
You didn't even give me one.
So last year, when we approved the drug testing policy, we said that we would come back at the end of the year and give you guys a report on how that drug testing process went. We obviously had the committee that got together last spring, developed the policy, came to you guys as a board and asked for approval. You guys granted approval for the policy. And we started the process to look at how we were going to implement the policy. At the beginning of the year, we started at our 4 secondary campuses, Garden City High School, Horace Good Middle School, KH Middle School, and Garden City Achieve. September was our first month in rolling out the program. And in that month, we rolled out the program. And at Garden City High School, we tested 20 students. Of the 20, 2 came back positive, both for marijuana. Throughout the remainder of the year, we ended up with 7. I want to make sure I'm correct. We ended up with 7 total positive tests through the remainder of the year. So 2 at the first test and then 5 more throughout the year. At the middle school level, there were no positive tests outside of 1 for a student that did test positive for that student's ADHD medicine. The testing company got a hold of once they saw what it was for. They got a hold of the parents. The parents confirmed it was ADHD medicine and provided the prescription for the ADHD medicine, and that became a negative test. The testing, just to be honest with you, when we first rolled it out, the first in that September rollout, we knew there was going to be a lot of learning. We had to figure out what the best locations in these facilities for testing was going to be. It did take us a month to 2 months to get everything figured out. In that first month at Garden City High School, the testing took almost 3 hours. We knew that that wasn't going to be sustainable throughout the year. So we found, and by we, I mean they, found a better testing location. They came up with a better process. We worked a lot with Accelicare on this. Accelicare and then Michelle Sholin and our testing coordinator and the athletic directors and activity directors at those schools really did a good job in those first couple months of coming up with a great process at their individual buildings that fit their individual buildings. By the time we got a couple months in, it was taking less than an hour at Garden City High School to get through all 20 tests. So the process became very efficient. It became fairly painless. We worked through hiccups and pitfalls at each of the buildings. Early on, we thought we would get some pushback from parents or pushback from kids. We really didn't. We only had less than a handful of phone calls asking about the process and or complaining about the process. But after the first couple months of it, there weren't any major issues, any major concerns. Josh and I talked about it. We thought we would see a lot of phone calls down here complaining about the policy or asking questions about the policy. I got way more compliments about the policy than I did criticisms about the policy. So throughout the year, it did end up going very smooth. I will say Accelicare was a big part of that because on site, we try to be as hands-off as a district as we can because we don't want there to be any projection of bias or anything toward any of the tests. So our administrators, outside of supervising the process, they stay out of it completely. Accelicare has all of our student ID numbers that they put through a machine and it randomizes the machine. They pick the students. They know, they send out, tell us, hey, these are the students that need passes. The only thing the administrator is doing is sending out the passes and bringing the students in. The administrator never sees who is getting tested ahead of time. Nobody sees that outside of Accelicare. When there's a positive test, The only people seeing the positive, negative coming from the company is our testing coordinator up here at the ESC and Excelicare. If there is a positive, our testing coordinator will get a hold of the building principal, let them know there was a positive test. And then at that point, the building principal takes over and implements the process of trying to help that student. So it was a good process. Total expenditures for the year were right around $9,000. It, cost-wise wasn't very expensive. We did have to hire a part-time testing coordinator that was a school nurse. Luckily, we had one that only wanted to work part-time, and this fit great because she could do this and then sub the other part of her half-time as a sub nurse. So it was a really good process. A lot of compliments. There's a lot of things that we're going to adjust for next year to make the process even better. One thing that Jessica and Josh and I have to consider for next year is making the determination. Currently, we're using urine samples. Do we want to stay with urine samples or do we want to go to mouth swabs? A urine sample is a little more intrusive than a mouth swab, but a mouth swab is a lot more expensive than a urine sample. So there are pros and cons to both. If you go to mouth swabs, it's a lot quicker to get all the tests done because you don't have to wait on those kids to have to go to the bathroom. So going into next year, we're excited about it. We think we have a process that works well. We'll continue to refine it and make it better. But overall, I think it was a pretty successful year with our drug testing policy. And I'm sure you guys are going to have questions.
What is the additional cost on the mouth swab versus the urine sample?
So moving into next year, it's about $20 a test. So right now we're paying $40 a test. Next year, it'll be $45 a test for a urine test and $65 a test for a mouth swab test.
You talk about how students are kind of put on the list, like how.
Yeah. So in order to be on the list, you have to be involved in an extracurricular activity. So that's not, a lot of people thought early on, and we tried to make it clear, a lot of people thought early on that's only going to be Keisha things like football and basketball and baseball and volleyball and softball. It's anybody that is in an extracurricular activity that represents Garden City public schools in any capacity. So if you're in the choir, you're going to be on the list. If you're in FFA, you're going to be on the list. If you're in theater, you're going to be on the list. If you're in robotics, you're going to be on the list. If you're in football or volleyball, you're going to be on the list. So all of those people are automatically, the second they sign up for that, they're automatically inputted into the list unless they've opted out. If they opt out, they just can't participate in those extracurricular activities. Last year, we did all the opt-out forms by hand because our enrollment, we have to have all our enrollment stuff done at the beginning of March. We didn't obviously pass this until the end of spring. Going into next year, one great thing is it's all embedded in the enrollment form. And so every single student either opts in or opts out, and it's actually an opt-out on the enrollment form. So every single student is going to opt in or opt out. And then if they do choose to opt out, they just won't be able to participate in any after-school activities.
Did they change their mind?
If they change their mind,
And
they,
say, yes, I want to do this.
so they have to take 5 consecutive, they'll automatically be put on the list. They won't count as one of that school's random 20 or depending on how many, but if they opt in, they have to test 5 consecutive tests and they have to test before they can opt in.
Is this, you said extracurricular activities, but does this also affect co-curricular like band?
Yep.
Where they also get a grade for participating?
Yeah, it does. It does affect those and they have to have alternative assignments if they miss a big event. I see Miss Miller here. Summer does our orchestra. Obviously, if they're going to some orchestra contest and students tested positive, they're going to sit out of that contest and that may have been for a grade 4. So they're going to have to come up with an alternative assignment in order to get that grade. We can't hold the grade from them because of this policy. We only, we have to give them an alternative assignment for what they're missing.
Is this something, I know we're using Excelicare now, but I know we're switching to Grow Well, and we talked about the testing for Grow Well. Is this something we can use them for or switch over to them?
It is,
I've actually reached out and they haven't got back to me on the price, but they did say that they would be able to staff it and send 2 people up to the buildings if they needed to each month, but they just haven't got back on cost.
On the refuse test? So what's that process?
So a refuse test is a positive test. So if they refuse to test, they're automatically marked as positive. They get the discipline for a positive test, and then they have to do 5 consecutive tests of negative in order to stay in good standing. We have had a few refuse to test. Those individuals just never came. Which is, it's not, we wish they would choose a different habit or different lifestyle, but it's also something that we don't want that habit or lifestyle to continue in those programs either.
I'm surprised. I was expecting higher numbers than that.
Yeah, we were too. I've spoken to some of you about this, and I'm not sure what to attribute it to. I don't know if the randomization of it just didn't catch kids, or if maybe kids weren't doing it because they knew they could get tested. I've talked to different groups of kids, and I think it did give kids an excuse to say no to a lot of that stuff. So, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help them make positive decisions that are going to have beneficial lifelong impacts for them.
Yeah, I hope Rowell can do it. Mouth swabs, save you time, but it is quite a price jump, almost doubles the price to.
Yeah, so we went from, like 9,000, a little over 9,000 this year, and if you go to 6,500, you can do the math pretty quick.
It would be less intrusive and it would be much more timely as far as getting them in and out.
Yep.
Getting them back into the classroom.
Yep. And that's a big part of it, early on when it was taking a couple hours to go through the process, the principals are sitting here going, they're missing. And most of the time you want to do it in the morning before, a lot of parents pull kids in the afternoon, or you're leaving on activities in the afternoon. So a lot of times you want to get it done in the morning. The problem with doing that is we also try to schedule English in the morning and math in the morning, those subjects that you really want to get done in the morning. And so when you're missing a couple hours sitting down at the principal's office waiting to go to the bathroom, that's problematic.
It's encouraging that you got a lot of compliments versus a lot of bad calls or calls complaining about it.
It was probably 8 to 10 to 1, I would guess. I mean, and I have a lot of parents that I'm friends with in the community that have secondary age students. And so, a lot of them were very, very happy that we did this. I think they all see a problem with it inside the community and with teenagers these days. And they're looking for help on how to deal with it. And I think this is just a helping hand for parents.
And with it being, as we explained, as a truly random process, I would hope this has a good reflection on them making good choices in life, right?
Yeah, we hope so. Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nope, I'm staying up here.
Item H1, music trip. Dr. Virginia Duncan and Ruto.
So Dr. Duncan, we've got illness going around still, and in case you guys haven't noticed, I think half of our staff is sick right now. But so Summer Miller is here to present to you guys, to talk to you guys about every 4 years we do a large music fine arts trip. It used to be it started as a band trip and orchestra. They used to go every 2 years to Branson, and then this has all kind of migrated and changed, and now we've turned this into a fine arts trip that encompasses orchestra, choir, band, and theater, kind of all doing it together so we can, a lot of the same kids, but also pool a lot of our resources and staff members to be able to help supervise the trip. So I'm going to let Summer talk about the trip itself.
Good evening, thank you. So, hang on one second. So you have, it's not a firm itinerary, but this is kind of what we're looking at. And the thing that we wanted to emphasize was the educational value of this trip. These kids are gonna get to have workshops with professional musicians and actors, and the things they're gonna get to do, not only watch a Broadway show, but get to see. We're gonna do a thing in the pit, and some of the theater kids are gonna get to be on stage with the actors and do that kind of stuff. Each group will get to produce some type of performance. In fact, our tour guide, Mike, mentioned that the choir and the band might get to perform at the United Nations building. There's a place that we can perform while they're coming out of session or whatever, and I was like, crazy. So not only do they get to participate in those workshops, but they get to watch professionals perform, and I think it's just gonna be an eye-opening experience for the kids to see those things. And then, of course, we're gonna go see our national historic sites and go to Chinatown and go see the Statue of Liberty and all that sort of stuff too. So I think it's gonna be a really great opportunity for the kids. So, and we do have the price is capped at $1,900. Chances are it will come in a little bit under that. But we are providing transportation. We're gonna fly. And right now it's about the same cost. And I am not doing another 30-hour bus ride. I'm done, no more. So we will either fly out of Denver or Kansas City. We don't have our dates totally set yet because we're waiting on flights. And so they're trying to get us the best pricing on flights. And of course, that depends on what you guys decide about the trip too. So that's what we're waiting on. But hopefully the price will come in under $1,900. That covers everything. Once they get on that bus with us to go to Kansas City or Denver, everything is covered. The company has a Visa type meal card that the kids can sign up for, and they will put money on that directly for the kids to pay for their meals and that kind of stuff. He explained it to us when we had our Zoom call with him. It was a really cool process on how they did that. So, okay, what questions do you guys have?
How many kids do you anticipate will participate this year?
That is a good question. We have quoted 150. And we will take one adult for every 10 kids. So that would be a traveling party of about 160 or so, 165, somewhere around in there.
This is all fundraiser?
Yes, yep. The students will do outside fundraising. I have plans for my students, hopefully, to earn their money through performance in the community. I've got some plans for them just to go, like what you hear, scan the QR code, make a donation, and it goes directly to those kids. So we'll see how it works out, but I think it's a good idea. Nobody wants popcorn or candy bars. Like, let's do some live performance instead.
I think they're looking to entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve the performing arts trip to New York for the summer of 2026.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
Last time we did have some board members go. I think that is an expectation. So you guys can decide.
$1,900, please. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, item H2, nutrition service, large equipment purchase. Tracy.
You might have went to the restroom.
I don't know if you have any questions, but Tracy just has some large equipment. It's all budgeted. It's actually part of her spend down plan for her carryover. That's okay. You're on time. But she can answer any questions you have.
Do you have any questions? You understand the equipment that I'm wanting to purchase? No?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did a little bit of research and we have a lot of old equipment and a lot of aging equipment. We have the ovens at Edith Sherman, for example, are 35 years old. So, but they don't make equipment like they used to. So those 35-year-old ovens will probably last
longer than the ones that we're purchasing today. If you do approve that. So we would like to purchase 2 ovens for the high school. The high schools were only 12 years old, but those high school ovens, they turn on at 4:30 in the morning. They don't turn off until 1 o'clock every day. And that's including this summer. So they get a lot of use. So I think that's one reason why we're going through a lot of motors on those. The other ovens were at Kenneth Henderson. They were 18 years old. So we have 2 that we just can't keep running on those. The dishwashers, we used to always get Hobart dishwashers and they ran forever. We even bought rebuilt ones, they ran forever. Well, those ones that are running forever are starting to get older and older, and Hobart no longer makes them the way they did. They also no longer make a dishwasher without an internal booster heater. So we have booster heaters and they're very expensive and they work well. So we actually went with a different brand of dishwasher this time, one without an internal booster heater. And at Jenny Barker, we did go with a little cheaper version. I don't know if you've ever been out to Jenny Barker, but it's kind of like a corner unit. And so we went with a door like you would buy at home. And we put it on this like a stand for that. The steamer, that steamer was, I'm trying to remember how old that steamer was 32 years old that we're replacing at Forest Good. So they just can't keep it running.
Any questions? When I read your memo, one like Alta Brown, the dishwasher was original to the school.
Yeah.
Jeez, I can't imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably time for some new.
It is. Yeah, our dishwashers, we have Jenny Barker. I couldn't even age that one. It's over 40 years old. Edith Sherman, 39 years old. VO, 38. Buffalo Jones, 36. Alta Brown, 33. Gertrude Walker, 31. So we have some. Most of them came with the building. And a lot of those were actually rebuilt units when we purchased or when they purchased them in the past.
The new ones will never last that long.
No, never. We're already having problems with one of our newer Hobarts, so they don't build them like they used to.
They come with warranties.
They do come with warranties. And there's a gentleman that came down, basically a broker that all the companies that we bid, he's the one that's helping them find the equipment. He came down and went through all the kitchens with me. And I think it's going to help in the long run because he can make suggestions and because I'm losing my Kinker. So it will help on which ones we'll need to replace. And any other questions?
Nope.
All right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I move to approve the $72,995 purchase from Index Restaurant Supply, $2,204 purchase from Sunflower Restaurant Supply as presented.
So moving second, is there any other discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Approved. You know what I meant. Motion carries. Item H3, Kansas Association of School Boards membership renewal for the 25-26 year.
So last year when we approved it, you all had asked me to come back and kind of talk about the value that we saw in it, the legal piece that we paid for. We did do some research. All of the policy updates that we get, that's that extra cost for the legal. That's part of that would be that. Also, it gives us access to call the attorneys. I mean, we have Jennifer, so we don't call her very often or call them very often, but it would give us the opportunity. I know Drew's made a couple of phone calls for some things that he's reached out to him for. I do feel like we've used them quite a bit. Jessica and I went to our negotiations training. I think Jackie, I believe you went, that was all sponsored through KSB and with our membership, we get to attend those for free. There's a lot of other trainings that they offer because of our membership, and some of those are free and others, there is a cost, but because we're members, we get it at a reduced rate. And so I do feel like there is value, and we've definitely utilized their services. One of the things that I think is going to be important soon, Anna in the superintendent's office, our deputy board clerk, has resigned. And so I'll be in the process of hiring a new board clerk to fill that position. And so they'll take care of the training. And Jennifer, it would be good for her to go and do a training with them too, because I don't think she's been since you started, right after you started.
I could go to two that were local. One was canceled, and last year we had terrible rain, so we didn't go to Hayes.
So I think we would get help with that as well. And they're really good. I mean, Jennifer, I think, calls them probably more than any of us do for questions that she has and resources that she needs from them. But I feel like we all utilize their services.
When you call with the legal issue, are they timely in?
Yeah, so it's immediate. I mean, 99% of the time when I've called, the Lori or whoever answers the phone, which is nice. We don't use them a ton, but when we do use them, it's because it's something that's really, really complicated. And I trust Jennifer with everything that we do. It's nice to hear it sometimes from somebody else that may have a different point of view or perspective, and making sure we can match up, what Jennifer's saying to what I'm thinking and what KSB is saying is always good to have, for those really, really complicated things. Dealing with personnel, it's nice to have a couple different perspectives. Because sometimes I may be a little more aggressive in my thinking than Jennifer. And sometimes I want to make sure that she's right. Normally she is right. I'm normally not right when I call. So it's good to have just somebody else to be able to tell me yes or no, or you guys are headed in the right direction, or you guys are headed in the wrong direction, outside of, because the thing that they see is they see, Josh, I think all but one district.
Yeah, all but one district in the state of Kansas.
And so they see,
to my knowledge, at least that's what it was last year.
they see everybody's issues and they see everybody's problems and pitfalls, and sometimes out here, we don't necessarily, from a personnel standpoint, get to see everything that's going on in all these other places, and they do. So that perspective is nice.
Thank you.
Discussion. I think they're looking for a motion, if so.
I move to approve the renewal of the KASB membership and LAF agreement for the 2025-26 school year.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, H4, Teen Intervene Program Agreements.
So, yes, sir.
I am recusing myself from this because I'm on the liberal board as well. So in the room next door.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Yep, thank you. I have Beth up here to kind of help if there's questions that I can't answer. She's going to know more than I am, obviously, but they reached out to us earlier in the year about some grant opportunities, and so we applied for the grant, and we earned that. And so basically, Beth helped us write the grant. We submitted it. We got the grant, and so then we have this contract, and then basically they'll provide the services through the funding that we got from the grant. And so the Teen Intervene program is really to support our kiddos that are struggling with vaping and alcohol and things like that. And so they'll provide, we'll provide the facility at like Garden City High School, and they'll provide the staff that will come and do the courses and support those kiddos. And so my hope is that as principals, it kind of goes back to the discipline piece again, as principals are dealing with kiddos that they're catching vaping instead of, you know, looking at going to an expulsion, because I've had a couple of kiddos in front of me for their third, fourth, fifth time vaping, getting caught at school. So instead of going to an expulsion, maybe we can put some services in place to support those kiddos to change that behavior instead of going down that path.
Is the program mandatory for the kids?
Voluntary.
Or it's voluntary?
It's all voluntary, yeah. Yes, ma'am. So Beth sent us kind of a draft of an MOU that she had put together. And I sent that to Jennifer for Jennifer to look at. And Jennifer said that since there is money changing hands, that we needed to have a contract and not an MOU. So the contract that you look at is the contract that Jennifer drafted for us. And I visited with Beth and Callie, and they're both fine with the contract, so.
Has our high school leadership looked at the contract?
I don't know that they have. How can you say that? Have you
Not-
talked to anybody?
Not necessarily the contract. We have talked to them about the process.
Yeah.
And what Team Intervene would be able to offer. They're excited about it because it takes burden off the counselors. One thing that we've always struggled with, you know, we actually worked with Live Well probably 10 years ago to when vaping was starting to become a major issue. We worked with Live Well to find a way to be able to funnel kids into a program, you know, if they were having issues with vaping, to be able to funnel those kids into a program. The problem we ran into, and it's not Live Well's fault, the problem we ran into is we were using youth services as our funnel. And early on, to be quite honest with you, we overwhelmed them, and then they lost their people to be able to offer that support on campus. And so a lot of that turned back onto our counselors to try to offer some support or help for those students. Community-wide, we just don't have a ton of support. The one nice thing about what Beth and Callie and those guys at Live Well are doing is they're actually going and hiring somebody to offer that support on campus so that those counselors don't feel like they're not substance abuse counselors. They're not alcohol abuse counselors. They're school counselors that have taken one class in that. So this gives an opportunity to actually bring somebody in that has the background to be able to help those students and let the counselors get back to doing what they're doing, and that's being a counselor, a school counselor at Garden City High School in Horace County.
We had the resist kids in here a while back, and they were asking us to kind of change our policy. This doesn't interfere with
It's not.
our policy.
No, it's not tied. We actually have this in our policy currently. The idea of this in our policy, and we offer referrals to all students that get caught with tobacco, alcohol, or drugs. But right now, all we can do is offer the referral to a community program. A lot of times those community programs are overwhelmed. And so this will offer them a referral to a community program. But the great thing about this is Beth is going to go hire somebody, and that community program is going to be right in their school where we can get an immediate response.
This is just a one-year commitment, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So the way that the contract reads is if we don't make any changes to it, then it'll automatically renew. I forget the language. There's an automatic renewal that Jennifer wrote in there.
On term, it's the agreement shall automatically.
Yeah, after, yeah.
But we kind of talked about that it was dependent on funding too.
Yeah, so
And there's language in there too about the funding. If we don't have the funding, then it would stop.
So the funding was through, and I'll let Beth talk a little bit more about this, but the funding was through a grant. The grant was issued to Garden City Public Schools. All we are is a pass-through. The funding comes to Garden City Public Schools, and then we turn around and pass it right back so they can actually hire the individual. You can talk about the grant itself.
Through one of the city AFAT grants, yeah, which works specifically on prevention. There's not a lot of prevention programs specifically targeted at teens right now. So this is one that's really favorably looked upon. We struggle with, like Drew said, catching those kids that might have parental referrals or self-referrals, or maybe they've just got in trouble and only just put their toe into the world of vaping and drinking. So this program really works and focuses on those kids too. It starts off with a one-on-one meeting with the person that provides the teen intervene, where they go through a referral, or not a referral, they go through an assessment process. And then there's 3 subsequent classes after that are one-on-one. The last class is with parents, and we saw this program working out of Newton and McPherson too. And they will tell you there that they had the least success with those parental classes too, getting parents to come meet with their kid at the school is a struggle for them as well. But we have a drug-free communities grant right now, so we're really thankful for the opportunity to go and find these programs and then bring them back to Drew and Josh and Mr. Ming and Mr. Byer at the high school and say, what do you guys think of this? We just saw this. So we're kind of building the plane as we're flying it right now too. But like you guys have heard tonight, a lot of these things we've heard is that we really do need some additional resources to help these kids.
So our hope is that by doing this, it will reduce some of the hearings that we have and maybe get the kiddos the support they need to make some lifestyle changes before it gets to that point.
You said the high school staff was on board with it, the leadership.
Now, we kind of feel like we're at a point where we can't really ask to do that restorative justice kind of programming if we don't have the tools that you guys need to implement that in place yet. So this is kind of stage 1 of that.
Will this be available in middle schools too?
Yeah.
Depends on how busy we are.
Yeah.
But right now, we just have funding for 1 part-time person. Not even 1 part-time person.
That individual will stay busy in Garden City High School, for sure.
I just think it's as equally important to address these problems in middle school. Not that the high school kids don't need the help too, but trying to stop it earlier is very important.
Oh,
When they do have time, we can see how, because I mean, the staff person is not tied to the high school like the students are. So if they have the opportunity to travel, I don't think it'd be that big of an issue.
So the funding that this agreement addresses is the amount of the grant.
Yes.
Yes.
So if we get into this and realize that we need to expand the amount of services that we offer, is that something we can apply? Is there other grants we can apply for to try to?
We pride ourselves on being very good at finding money from people. So we think there's some additional opportunities that could be out there to grow it.
Or maybe even.
LiveWell has been really good to the
funding
district. There's been a lot of things that Beth and Callie have done to support us in the past.
I would just hate to see if we get into this and realize how much is being utilized and then have just the cost be the inhibiting factor of expanding it to middle schools if it needs to be. If the demand's there or the need, I guess, is there.
That always tells me there's more money out there.
Gotta find it.
So IFAC has a second round that opens up, which is a larger amount too.
This was the large program.
Okay.
Yeah. So this specific program is only for kids age 12 to 19. So that would work for us.
So it says in the packet or and in the contract that there's like 1 to 6 sessions. Can you explain like what would be, only need 1 session versus?
So the first session is kind of like we get to know each other. We kind of talk about where we're at. We do that intervention. Like I have specifically not gone through the whole training. There's 2 trainings that are set. The first one will be August 13th and 14th. Have that person trained on the program. I've just sat through numerous sessions where somebody that talks about it goes through it. And then subsequent sessions, session 2 and session 3, the kid kind of works through maybe what some of their triggers might be as to why they're using. They might talk about like the health risks associated with vaping or alcohol, that sort of thing. And then they come back like another month later and have another session kind of to see where they're at, see how things are going, see if they might need some additional resources. And then that last session is kind of a family session where they talk to their parents about where they're going, what they're doing. Do they need some additional help after that?
What's the time frame on that from first session to 6?
It's probably about, I would say, 2.5 to 3 months for the whole system to work itself through. It's based like on the change model, so change doesn't necessarily happen overnight. If you've ever tried to lose weight or tried to start exercising more, you know that it's not a one-day changer, click this button sort of thing. And there's several different programs out there. We went with this one just because they were using it here in Kansas too. Stanford University has another program that's real similar to it. Doesn't have as much training that goes along with that one. So we really liked this component for that person that's going to step into that role. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a trained substance use prevention counselor. It can be a part-time school nurse that we heard about earlier. We have some new leadership people that we're looking at too. So it's really set up so that anyone really can teach it and facilitate it.
Any other questions? Thank you. For a motion, if anybody so wants to make one. Seconded to approve the Teen Intervene Program Agreement between the Board of Education and Finney County Community Health Coalition. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Here. Dr. D, what do you want to get?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Okay, move on to item I, board open discussion. First, I won't steal everybody's thunder. I was disappointed that I didn't get to go to graduations. I always look forward to that every year, and I was disappointed, but I understand it was a good turnout and it was a good time, so. And I want to thank Nathan and his church for the goodie bags that we keep all getting the credit for, that we didn't, that you did. Right. But I appreciate everything you've done. I've had so many people thank us and that. So I know you and your congregation and the such worked so hard. So thank you for that. Like Jenny Plymell, I appreciated them coming out today. I was really impressed with them and their ability to go out to the community too and just expand from the school and get involved in the community. So I appreciated that. Robert?
I also had to miss graduation and, sad. I got to go see my grandbabies, so, you know, it was a good trade-off. The Hall of Fame banquet on Friday was very nice. I went to high school with one of the inductees, so it's kind of cool to, you know, rub shoulders with somebody famous. And it's always impressive to hear the stories that they have. This is my second banquet. I know school is winding down for the kiddos and the teachers, but I think as I learned last year, that just means that you guys' work is like just starting. So good luck for the next couple of months and preparing for the next school year. Yeah.
Mark?
Yeah, congratulations to the Hall of Fame inductees, Jonetta Holmes, Heberly, and Gary Feith. That was fun going to that, and I know them both, so it was Gary Feith was in my wife's class. I've got to meet him at some reunions, and then of course I've known Jonetta for a long time. And congratulations to all the 2025 graduates. It was fun to go to the Achieve Virtual Academy graduation and then the Garden City High School graduation as well. It's always good to see the excitement in the air with the families and the students as they're graduating. Thanks to the Plymell group, it's always good to hear from our students, the teachers that completed the letters training. It's great to know that we have staff here at USD 457 that's willing to go that extra mile to get the training and do the job needed and then the after-school program teachers too. I think that the family, again, Bella and her mom and dad, the testimony they gave us tonight was really good, and it's great to hear from people like that it directly affects. So kudos to those folks as well.
Nathan?
Definitely agree with everything that's been said already. It was fun to be at the graduations and just to see those kids, especially that they achieve graduation, because those kids would not have had a chance, you know, in other places. And so to see their parents so excited for them that they've completed that and moved on. And I do want to say huge thanks to the retiring teachers. I know we've got a lot of teachers that are stepping away, and they've given a lot to the kids in this community and the community as a whole. And so I want to say huge thanks to them and their investment in this and their best wishes as they go forward as well. Keep encouraging the teachers to finish strong this year. We've got a couple more days left. I know it's getting weary in a lot of different situations that I've talked to with several teachers, but encouraging them and thanking them for their hard work as they finish up, and really all the staff of the school district and all the different places, the things that are happening. And especially as we heard about the after-school program, it's finishing, one phase is finishing and going right into the next. And so we know that's coming. So I appreciate all of their hard work. Do appreciate the Plymouth presentation as well, and the teachers, the letters training. Like I mentioned there, my wife has been through that, and it's been a daunting task to get through that some evenings. And so she definitely, I can appreciate them. Definitely appreciate, and a lot of times we don't, I know it was kind of a rough start for international teachers, but I wanted to say thanks for Drew and all the support that the entire school system has put together for them. I know they've worked with a lot of them, and they had a little bit of a rough transition at the very beginning, but they've smoothed out and it's been very well received. And I know we've got some others coming in from what I hear, and so that's going to be a good thing. Looking forward to what we have for the school system with them. And I think that's the thing I've got. Appreciate being here and just wish the best of luck and safe summer for all the kids.
I'd like to piggyback on what Nathan said and just want to thank the staff. It's a long year and people can get burned out and get into a routine, but I know our staff works hard every day and they give their best to our students every day. So I do appreciate that. Spring's an exciting time of year. I mean, the graduations are always the highlight of being on the Board of Education for me, and getting to see the excitement of those young men and women walking across the stage and having that sense of accomplishment and going to the next chapter of their life, and just getting to go to some of the awards banquets, and then some of the students that get honored at the graduations, just some of their achievements. We have some incredibly bright young students in our district, and we got a bright future when we graduate. A lot of students that are that smart and have a good future ahead of them. I would like to thank Jamie Swear. I know that the after-school program is a lot of work, and she does a lot of organizing and to get that program to work and to run smoothly. So I thank her for all her work and all the teachers that help with that. Exciting that for the first time ever, it was fully staffed. I know that's been a concern in the past. So to have that or not have to worry about that, and the kids can come and go to the after-school program and have someone there to teach them, I think that's just wonderful. And the letters training, I do want to recognize all the teachers that have gone through that and just the extra effort that is. I think that's a fundamental program, and helping our students read and getting our teachers trained to help our students best is obviously, very valuable to the district and to our students. And I want to thank Plymouth, like Mark said, I think is just having kids in the boardroom is fun. Getting to see them read or do their part of a presentation, that's a great experience for them in the future.
I don't have anything anybody else hasn't already said, but graduation was good. It was big. It was a lot of kids, a lot of happy kids and parents. Same with the after-school program. That's a very liked program. Seemed to do a very good job with it. And the letters training, all the teachers, all the dedication it takes for that.
Much of the same. It was a great weekend. Graduation weekend is always an exciting time. I want to thank our faculty for the extra work it takes to put those ceremonies on. We had a couple really great student speakers at graduation this year. Was really impressed by those graduates. But yeah, for me, it's having the opportunity to shake the hand and say congratulations to the students as they walk across stages. One of the great joys of being on the board. I do want to say thank you to this Plymouth Student Lighthouse team. They did a great job coming tonight and presenting. For all the teachers that have gone through letters training, it is quite a bit of work. It's clearly spelled out the amount of hours they spend, the amount of training they go through, but I think it's making a substantial difference with our students, and I'm really thankful for everybody's willingness to do that. I appreciate the presentation tonight on the drug testing policy. Again, I want to thank the board for adopting that policy. I think that drug testing policy is doing a good job. Even though, it's not about getting positive test results. It's like, as Drew said, I think it's about providing a deterrent and giving kids a reason to say no. And so, 7 positive tests through the course of the year to me tells me that policy is doing what we want it to do. We're not finding positive tests, but I really feel like we're trying to turn the tide away from issues. And lastly, just thank you to the faculty. It's been another long year, a long, hard year and of hard work, and you guys have done a tremendous job throughout the district, and I just thank you very much.
Dr. Dominguez.
Thank you. This will actually be my last board meeting, so as you articulated, pre-K through graduation, that is huge. So we got to be part of the virtual, the achieves, and the graduation, the culmination of, could be 13, 14 years of education. That's phenomenal. So thank y'all for that. We have teachers retiring, as Pastor Heck alluded to. We have people that have, some of them have done 40 years, and not all here in Garden City, but some of them vast amount of time. So that really does let us know that this is a special place and a celebration. We have the Plymouth presentation, the letters, the after-school programming, the DAEP, the alternative placement. We're just doing so many things for anything and everything that the students need. Drug testing, give them opportunity to say no. Engagement enrichment on the New York City trip. Nutrition bids. We're still looking at our facilities of what do we need to do to continue to, for the next 30 years, move forward. The teen intervention program gives students an opportunity to do something different than maybe that they had before. So we are hitting it on all cylinders, as we already know. We have a great replacement coming, but like I say, as it draws to a close, serving as superintendent for the last 3 years, it has been a profound honor and a source of immense pride. My heart is definitely rooted in Garden City community, and definitely welcomed me with open arms and reminded me daily of the power of collective purpose. Together, we embarked on a mission to engage, enrich, and empower every shareholder in this district, whether a student, educator, parent, or community partner. We've embraced the belief that everyone has the capacity to lead with that shared vision, igniting progress, strengthening connections, and reaffirming the district's extraordinary potential. These relationships that we've built will remain in my memory long after I depart, while I will miss the laughter in the hallways, the dedication of our teams, and the vibrant spirit of this community, and know leaving USD 457 is a position to keep rising. This is not an end, but a continuation, a reminder that the work of nurturing tomorrow's leader really never concludes. Thank you for trusting, challenging, and allowing me to grow alongside of you guys. Garden City will always hold a special place in my story, and I will carry my lessons forward with gratitude. With unwavering belief in this district's future, this is my last board meeting, so thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
Dr. Dominguez.
Okay, move on to item J, next board meeting. The next board meeting of education will take place on Monday, June 2nd at 6 p.m. here in the board meeting room at the Educational Support Center. Item K, move on to executive session.
Mr. President, I move we go into executive session for 10 minutes to discuss negotiations for the 2025-2026 school year pursuant to the exemption for employer-employee negotiations under COMA, beginning at 8:05 p.m. and the meeting will resume. Board meeting at 15 p.m. I'd like to invite Dr. Dominguez, Josh Kyman, Drew Town, and Jessica Nolan to join us in executive session.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded, move to executive session. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, same, motion carries.